Hello everyone, and welcome to this instalment of Talking Local. If you haven't caught one of our previous Talking Local interviews before, I get together with the great and the good, the very well-known and respected people from the online marketing and search industries. I get to ask them questions about their experiences, their insights, and also their motivations. What sort of thing gets them out of bed in the morning. I'm particularly excited about today's interview because I'm joined by a man called Neil Patel. Now, I'm sure most of you know who Neil is very well. And he needs a little introduction, but I'm going to give you one anyway. Neil is a very experienced and successful digital entrepreneur. He's founded numerous online services, including Crazy Egg, KISSmetrics, and QuickSprout. He's a prolific blogger, and I read his blog on QuickSprout almost every day. He's very well known in the online marketing industry as a pioneering thinker and also an influencer. He's one of the world's leading content and conversion marketeers, and he's sold his consulting services at outrageous prices to blue chip companies like Amazon and HP and GM. And he was recently recognized as one of the world's leading digital entrepreneurs under the age of 30. Now, I really could go on and list even more incredible accolades that Neil has, but I think you probably get the picture. He knows a thing or two about building and marketing successful web businesses. So, Neil, very delighted that you could be with us today. I'm in the UK. Neil is in California, where it's very early. So, Neil, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
That's great. Like I said, I'm very delighted that you could join us. Now, these interviews usually take about sort of 15-20 minutes, and I've got some questions lined up for Neil, so I'm just going to jump into those. So, Neil, you are a very busy man. You have a lot of different projects that you work on. How do you currently divide your time between the different projects and initiatives you have?
So funny enough, I don't really manage my time that way. I do have an assistant which helps. My time is mainly taken up by meetings, phone calls, and emails. Right? I spend a lot of my time on KISSmetrics. I'm the chief evangelist there. And other than that, Crazy Egg and a few other companies have a team that runs it all, so I help out whenever I need help. But I majority spend my time on KISSmetrics, so it's not too hard to figure out where I'm going to do for the day or where I'm going to spend my time.
So it's interesting to hear that you spend your time, managing your communication so much, because that tends to be a thing that people like to move away from and have someone else manage. Do you do that by having, teams around you that are specialists in certain areas that you feel you can give sort of full responsibility and autonomy over to?
That's correct. I'm a big believer in hiring people that are smarter than you. That way you don't have to micromanage them, and they can do a specific task extremely well.
That's very sage advice. So you strike me as a man who has thousands of ideas. How do you filter the good ones from the bad ones? And how do you, as a serial entrepreneur, how do you stop yourself getting overexcited by the next big idea, running off and doing that, and not seeing through the existing ideas?
Yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs have ADD, so they just keep jumping around. Richard Branson said it best, and I'm going to butcher his quote, so I do apologize. But it's something like business ideas or like buses, right? The question is which one are you going to hop on? And at the end of the day, you got to figure out what you're really passionate about. Assuming you pick an idea that's big enough, you just got to stick with it. Sure, there are other great ideas too, but just focus on that one business and call it a day. In addition to that, when you have an idea, you need to survey people. So ask your potential customers, your target audience, what they think, and then go from there. Doesn't matter what you think; it matters what your buyers think.
How much, when you're looking at a new opportunity, a new idea, how much do you focus on, say, the product and the detail of the functionality and the features, for example, versus the people that you bring in to manage it and run it?
Well, we focus on everything at the beginning. You gotta actually throughout the whole process, you gotta focus on the product, the idea, the functionality, and people. If you have capital, you can focus on that right away. If you don't, you can focus on that once your business starts growing and you have more money.
Okay, great. I want to turn to your kind of marketing experience a bit. You are a prolific content marketer. What do you think is the secret to excellent content marketing?
Writing better content than other people. I know that sounds cliche, but a lot of people just write the bare minimum content. If you can go above and beyond and give great information, so much that someone can be like, oh, I can read this and I know exactly what he's doing and I can implement the steps, is good, and most people don't go that in depth with their content.
When you're planning a piece of kind of content you're going to publish, how much kind of pre-planning kind of work goes into it, say before you start actually writing it?
Quite a bit. Everything from figuring out what I'm going to write about, the points I'm going to talk about, who my audience is. Once I figure all of that out, I then start writing it. After I write it, I schedule it to be published. Once it's scheduled, I figure out who I'm going to email that can potentially tweet it out, maybe ask them for it. If I link to anyone that's relevant within the article, I'll draft emails to let them know that I emailed, link to them so that way they can share it or link it from their website, whatever it may be, right? But we put in a lot of time for each and every single blog post.
Do you how much time do you put into the kind of writing side of it, say, versus the kind of promotion outreach aspect?
Usually happens 50% promotion, 50% writing. If writing takes me an hour, I'll promote for an hour. If writing takes me 2 hours, I'll promote for 2 hours.
Okay, great. So yes, I mean, I think it's I think a lot of people fall short on the kind of the promotion side of it and really kind of focus kind of just on purely on the content and hope that it'll get picked up and shared and pushed out through other channels. In terms of the kind of, I guess, the depth of the content, what's your kind of best practice thinking on the depth of content, the length of the blog, etc.?
I like writing detailed blog posts. I don't think there is a minimum number or a maximum number. It's more so if there's no fluff and the information is really useful, then keep writing.
And you've obviously got a long track record in working in online marketing, and also SEO as part of that. How much sort of time and effort and almost obsession do you put into, say, SEO and link building these days, or do you consider that to be a byproduct of producing good content and and having a strong brand?
I see it as a byproduct of just producing good content and creating a brand.
Okay, so I mean, do you do much kind of I'm just trying to understand, because I agree with you that I think it is a byproduct. But I know from your early days you talked about I think probably kind of harking back to the very early days, more about kind of SEO. So I also want to understand a bit more about, I guess, the marketing journey that you've gone through from when you started off in the industry to kind of where you are now, and the kind of the headspace and how that might have changed.
Yeah, it's really, you just got to pivot and adapt with the market, right? What works great now may not work well forever. So you just got to continually adapt and change so that way you're on the forefront of everything.
Yeah, again, some extremely wise words. So it's probably a bit of an understatement to say that you're a name within the online marketing industry. You sell yourself, the brand Neil Patel, as much as you do the services that you provide. How important has building your own reputation been in the success of the services that you run?
It's very helpful. It not only helps generate more revenue, more brand recognition, right? Gets more customers, more press. The possibilities are endless, and we found that indirectly it produces a positive ROI.
Do you think there are any sort of dangers in you as a brand being either dominant or aligned too closely with your service? Say down the line you want to sell the service, but your name is so synonymous with the service that the value is wrapped up in you, and if you want to extricate yourself from the business, does that make it harder?
It of course does make it harder, but anything is possible.
I just wanted to sort of switch a little bit onto kind of a purely kind of local marketing, and give you a scenario. A friend of yours starts a local business, be it a restaurant or an accountancy firm, and they come to you and they say, "Hey Neil, I'm starting a business. I really want to get it off the ground to a flyer. What advice would you give them? Say 3 bits of advice around how best to promote themselves for long-term success. What are the 3 bits of advice that you would give them?"
So you're talking about a business that's a local business, and how can they promote themselves for long-term success?
Correct.
So for local businesses, I would make sure you do whatever you can about excellent customer service, because that affects Yelp reviews, city search, right, Google reviews, whatever it may be. That impacts local businesses quite drastically. 2, make sure you're in all the local directories. So there's a program called getlisted.org, and it helps you get listed in all the local places, which is very valuable. The third thing is go above and beyond to like bring customers back in because the customer base is very targeted to whatever location you're in. So loyalty programs, reward programs, whatever it may be, it's a great way to get people to keep coming back. The next one would be focus on Facebook. It makes it really easy to do location-based marketing.
And how about kind of content marketing? Given that a lot of local business owners, they like running the service. If they're a salon owner, they love cutting hair and working with customers. They're less comfortable, putting pen to paper and writing a blog post, and therefore creating good content to go on the site. How might you encourage someone like that who is maybe less inclined to put their thoughts onto paper and communicate that way? How would you sort of encourage them to see the virtues and benefits of content marketing?
Yeah, I think for local businesses, there's so many other things that they can do that'll produce a bigger ROI. Content marketing's fine, but it works better when it's targeting a much broader audience. So for local businesses, I would avoid it. You should do it if you have extra time. That shouldn't be one of the first things you do.
Okay, that's interesting. That definitely is not what a lot of people in the local industry preach, but everyone has a unique perspective. In fact, that unique perspective, I'd like to kind of almost cast a vision to the future, look in the crystal ball, around digital marketing. We have a tendency to kind of move around slightly like sheep around the next big thing, kind of sort of flock mentality almost. If you cast your mind forward to say 2 years from now, what do you think we'll be really concerned with and really obsessing about in 2 years?
I think in 2 years, one thing that'll be really focused on marketers in general is converting visitors to customers. The trend is marketing is becoming more and more expensive, from paid ads to SEO to content marketing. It's all adding up. So if you can't convert your visitors into customers, you're not going to get a high ROI. And I think there's going to be a big shift in marketers are going to go from just being traffic experts to also learning psychology and conversion optimization tactics.
And when you provide your consulting services and you advise businesses, how much of your time or effort is focused on, say, the kind of lead generation, top of the funnel piece of marketing, bringing customers into a site, and how much is focused on actually kind of converting those customers through the different steps? And which one do you personally prefer working on? Which do you find more interesting, and where do you see more value can be created?
I spend 50-50. So 50% of my time on traffic acquisition, 50% on conversion, and I enjoy both equally. So for me, I'm passionate about both topics.
Okay, and a final question, an opportunity for you to kind of plug your services. If a local business owner is watching this, or a local digital agency, which of your services do you think would be kind of best for them to utilize, and what value would they get from them?
ClickSprout's great if you're just looking to learn marketing advice. Crazy Egg is great if you're looking to figure out how to improve your conversions. KISSmetrics is more for bigger, broader companies that aren't localized. HelloBar is also another great tool because it offers personalization, in which people can end up doing customized messages to their visitors based on their location, what they've done before, etc. And then the last one would be Stride. If you're doing sales or you have a sales team where you need to manage your leads, Stride is a great free CRM that helps you manage all that.
Okay, great. In fact, I signed up for HelloBar yesterday, so I'm looking forward to implementing that and see how that works. So Neil, that's great. Thank you very much for your time this morning and for sharing your wisdom with our audience. Really appreciate it, and I'm sure they will too. So please have a good day wherever you are. And to everyone who's watched this, thank you very much for watching our Talking Local interview with Mr. Neil Patel. I found it particularly enlightening. We have some other Talking Local videos coming up very soon, so please look out for those on our YouTube channel and also on our site. Take care and have a great day wherever you are. Thank you.